Ricky Carruth, welcome to eXp Chats. Great to have you here, brother.
Oh man, I'm glad to be here. Good to see you.
This is a really important interview because you are the team leader of us here in Australia. And we've got a bit of a history, you and I. You came on my podcast, don't know how long ago now. And I think I just reached out because I saw your inspirational videos. I do a Hidden Why podcast, which is totally not real estate related. And that's where we first connected. And
Yeah.
the journey for me to EXP was through you because I used to follow you, saw that you were with Remax at the time, and then I saw you made a switch, and I was just like, hang on, what's going on there? Like this, successful guy that I look up to, that I get coaching from, has now made that switch. So it just didn't make sense to me. That's when I started looking at the EXP model. But give us a bit of a background story into your journey.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, as far as going all the way back, I got in real estate 20 years ago.
Mm,
I was 20 years old and same stuff new agents go through. It took me 8 months to get to my first sale and all that stuff. Everybody's first year is really tough. And then I was in that 2002, 2003 market, boom that happened here in the States and made a lot of money really fast, lost it all in the crash and went back to roofing houses. Literally, I was bankrupt. I was sleeping in my car, sleeping on friends' couches, eating out of people's refrigerators, just kind of just, roaming around. But I was working every day. That was one thing I never stopped doing, was working every day. So I eventually ended a job on an oil rig, and then eventually got laid off from there as things got worse in the oil industry, and then
mm,
got back in real estate in 2008. And I took everything I learned from that moment and applied it to my business. And it was kind of like, my second chance to get out here and do it right the next time around. And yeah, just kind of just exploded from there. Once I understood the big picture of how to build your business, that it's more about relationships and really taking care of your clients long term, not just for one deal, and staying in
yeah.
touch with people and remarketing and stuff like that, then boom, my business blew up. So I became the number one Remax agent in Alabama. I was selling 100 properties a year as a single agent. I did that 8 years in a row. Last year was the last year. And then I came to EXP from Remax after 10 years. I was
Mm,
with Remax. I was with Remax from 2010 to 2020.
yeah.
So just before the pandemic. I mean, like March 10th was my first day at EXP, and then
So
the
with your own
economy.
Remax office, or were you working under a franchise mob?
I was just an agent at a brokerage. I had a
Yep.
broker and all that. And yeah. And so when I left Remax, my thought was to start my own brokerage and to become an independent brokerage and to
Right.
go out there and crush it, and have my own company and everything. But when I looked at the EXP model before I really committed to opening up my own office, I realized that it's the same thing. I could still have my physical location. I could still bring on agents. I could still help those agents succeed. I could still make money on those agents, but without any of the problems of legal compliance, payment processing, and all those things. And so you have to think of eXp as a platform that we all build our own companies on, whether that's as a new agent, experienced team leader, broker owner, whatever it is. You
Yeah.
can use eXp's infrastructure to go out and build your own company. And so
Mm,
that's what I have now. So like with Remax, for example, I was there for 10 years and I paid them a 500,000, through fees and stuff like that, commission splits,
over the
but
10
nothing to
years.
show
Yep.
for it. Yeah,
Yep.
nothing to show for it. With eXp, I've been here for 2 years. I paid them 40. They gave me 50 in equity, which is worth 80,000 today, even in this down market. It was actually worth 160 at one point at the high, but it's still worth 80, which is twice as much as I've paid eXp. And so I own the company. So you get equity just by selling real estate. Same thing
Yeah.
that you're doing at the company you're at. They give you equity. They want you to be a partner. So now I feel appreciated. I feel like I'm working towards something and I feel like I'm in it with the company as opposed to just being a customer of the company. So here I am. If I did my own brokerage, I would still have a location, but I would be liable for all my agents and I basically wouldn't have any equity because an independent office is not worth anything.
Yeah.
But since I chose eXp, I'm able to have equity, 80,000 today.
Yeah.
I'm able to still have agents, but not be liable for them and not have the expenses and E&O insurance and all that. But also the biggest thing there is I can expand into any market I want in the world that eXp's a part of. We're in like 30 countries now. I can expand anywhere I want to in the world for free,
Yeah.
right? If I know an agent like yourself, we open up a branch there. I expanded to Australia for nothing, for $0, and I'm not liable for you guys, yet I make a small margin every time you guys sell a property. And so that's what's amazing about eXp is you literally can build your own global franchise for free. And so that's why I made the decision, because I wanted to build something massive,
Yeah.
and I'm a big thinker and I'm a hard worker. And so eXp was a good fit for me when it comes to all that.
Yeah. Well, you are a hard worker. I can tell you that now. I don't know how you do it all in a day.
What's
And
that?
they've just announced the I mean, so three things you sort of touched on there. I mean, you didn't really touch on the comms at all, but the comm splits are phenomenal anyway. Once you get to look at that, but then you talked about building a team locally, nationally, internationally. Now, how many teams? You've got one of the largest teams now, growing rapidly. I think I just saw an email from you saying another 50 members this month or this past month.
Yep.
So you're growing about
Yep.
40 to 60 members a month, which is huge. How
Yep.
many members in that team now?
We've got about 1,200 right now in our organization, in our brokerage. So we're in like 6 different countries. We're in India, Australia, of course, Brazil, Canada. So we're in all these countries and we're growing in these countries, and that's what's incredible about it is the growth. And
Yeah.
it's easy because it's an easy value proposition, because it's like you come here, not only are you going to own the company as you sell real estate, right, where you can't get equity where you are, and
Yeah.
this is a multi-billion-dollar company you're going to own a part of, but you also have agents like myself, like yourself, and whoever that's part of the company that has a vested interest in your success. You don't really get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
Your broker might have a vested interest in you, but the other agents in the company don't have a vested interest in you. They don't really have, that real incentive to really help you take your business to the next level. Whereas here, it's a different culture because
Yeah.
number one, we have a vested interest in your success. Number two, we all own part of the company. So we're all in this together, trying to build this
We all want it
company
to grow.
together with each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
And so there's a much more sense of togetherness here
You do
than
find
any
that.
other
Yeah.
brokerage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I've found that. I mean, obviously, there's teams like you and I and our team, but then there's other teams here in Australia as well. But we all work together. I've had great
Yeah,
conversations with other agents from other teams,
yeah.
and we support each other along the journey. And you're right. It's because we're all part of the eXp. We all own equity in the company, so it makes sense for us to work with each other to help grow that. And the growth is
It's
phenomenal.
cool. It's cool because since we all own the company, we're going through the good times and the bad times together with the corporation.
Yeah.
Like right now, everything's down because we're having the recession and stuff. And so we're all feeling the effects of the valuation of the company being lower and everything. We're in it together. And when things are going to be great, as things rebound next year and the year after, we're all going to be celebrating. So when we go to conferences to EXPCon and shareholders conference and stuff like that, it's a much different conversation when the agents are asking the people at corporate about changes that need to be made in the company. So when they go to talk to somebody at corporate, there's like at a traditional brokerage, let's say, I'm not going to name any brokerages, but let's just say traditional brokerage, an agent goes to corporate and they say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to look into this. And at EXP, it's not like this. An agent approaches corporate and says, hey, we need to look at this. We need to do that. We need to look into this situation. And it's a we thing over here when we're talking to corporate, because corporate is corporate because they have the corporate positions to build the company and the employees and everything else. But when we say we, it's we because we all own the company. So you're not pointing your finger saying, hey, you need to do this. You need to change that. Here's what's wrong with your company. It's like, hey, here's what's wrong with our company. Here's what we need to look into. Here's what we need to do to make this company better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They just reported some great increases through the last quarter as well. A revenue of 1.2 billion.
Yeah, And that's the cool thing. People can look at our, our numbers. We're publicly traded. So all of the P&Ls and balance sheets and
Mm,
incomes and expenses and everything is right there for everyone to look at. And the growth has been incredible. Our revenue is up double digits every quarter for the last how many ever years, 5, 6, 7 years, every single quarter. We became profitable 2.5 years ago, and they've had a profitable quarter every quarter since. A massively profitable quarter,
yeah.
so it is something. And think about this: last year they made $300 million. Okay, they gave
2021.
100, yeah, 2021. They made 300 million. They
Yeah.
gave 150 million back to the agents in cash out of that year's revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, 50%. So
Yeah.
every dollar the company makes, they give 50 cents off the top back to agents
Yeah.
in cash that month, before they even pay one single company expense. Then they take the other 50%, which last year was 150 million. They pay their expenses, and last year they still had 81 million net profit. So they paid agents in the company $150 million in cash out of that year's revenue and still had 81 million net profit last year. So there's tons of companies over here in the US that lose money,
Yeah.
tons of money, that don't give agents a dollar. Remax lost money last year. Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow, Redfin, Compass, all those companies lose tons of money. They don't give a dollar to agents. And here eXp is, they gave 150 million in US dollars in cash
Mm,
back to agents and
yeah.
monthly distributions. I got a 500,000 of it myself. And still made 81 million net profit. It's amazing what
Mm,
they're doing and what they're doing moving forward. Like we
yeah.
just bought Zoocasa, which is like the Zillow of Canada. We own Showcase IDX, Success Magazine, Verabella, the virtual
From strength
world.
to strength. Yeah. Yeah. The virtual
Yeah.
world.
So
Yeah.
when you own the stock, when you own the company, you own all those companies, not just a real estate brokerage.
Yeah. So, what would you say to someone listening to this, maybe thinking about making a change, and whether it be an individual like myself when I joined, or a company perhaps that's out there listening, and maybe they've got their own branded office looking at this model? What would you say the value proposition is, or the three most top things to consider would be?
Well, as far as individual agents, there's not another company that's going to give you the support that we have, as well as the equity that we're going to give you,
Yeah.
and the platform to expand.
Yeah.
You can expand your footprint of your business across the entire, continent of Australia, and also expand into the UK and France and Spain and, Brazil, Mexico, Canada, US, all those places. You could literally expand in any of those markets for nothing.
Mm,
But just taking your sales and then breaking down the split, looking at how much more money you're going to make here, plus own the company and be able to build up a portfolio of equity in this company over the next 10, 20 years that's going to be massive as the company grows. You don't have that opportunity anywhere else.
mm,
As far as like an entire office, we've brought on entire brokerages. We brought on entire offices. We did two that were 100 agent brokerages. We did several that were 20, 30 agent brokerages. And these were physical locations that had a broker and agents, and they literally just transferred over to eXp, took the Remax or the independent brokerage sign down, put the eXp sign up. All their agents switched over with them, and they're rocking and rolling. And those brokerages that came over, they've now doubled, and one has even tripled their agent count, because they were able to have a better value proposition for the local agents to join their organization, and they were able to expand to different places in the country where they couldn't do that before.
yeah. Yeah.
Right? So for offices coming over, the value proposition is pretty simple. You keep your location, you keep your branding, but now you're not liable for any of the agents. You don't
Yeah.
deal with compliance. You don't deal with payment processing.
Yeah.
Only thing you have to worry about now is helping the agents continue to grow and bringing more agents in to look at this opportunity so that we can continue to grow and triple and quadruple, your agent count and expand that agent count. So
Mm,
right now, most of the brokers there, they're dealing with liabilities, all
yeah.
the agents' problems in the company, the compliance, the payment processing. They're dealing with all that stuff. They could literally wipe all that off of their plate. And right now, they're really bound geographically where they can only bring on agents local to them. But with this model, they're wiping all the liabilities and broker responsibilities off their plate while being able to expand anywhere they want to in the country for free,
Yeah.
right? For free, no expenses. They bring on agents, it doesn't cost them a dime,
Mm,
and then we start working with them to help them increase their volume, increase their sales, become more successful, and maybe start their own teams. I mean, the bigger if we can help agents build their own teams, that's more of an agent count for us. And the team leader is successful, we're successful. If everybody wins, everybody wins. So
yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of vested interest here in everybody succeeding.
Absolutely. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense when you explain it like that for officers to, even look at this model and consider it, because you're right, like running a business, trying to make profits, doing all the stuff that is involved in running a business. Instead of doing that, you can wipe your slate clean and really just focus on the people. And that's what the company is all about. It's agent centric. It's about the people.
They keep their office, they keep their branding, nothing changes. They just switch their licenses over and take all that broker responsibility off their back and put
Grow
themselves in
bigger
a
teams.
position to really grow and build some equity.
Yeah. What do you think the hesitation is for individuals? And I mean, maybe in the US, but not so much here. But what do you think the hesitation is for people coming across?
I think for individual agents, the biggest hesitations are, it sounds too good to be true,
Yeah.
or they really have a really strong relationship with their current broker, or they're at a place where, or maybe they're not selling that much, and so it makes sense
Mm,
for them to stay where they are or whatever. There's tons of excuses and reasons why. We're looking for people that look at this and say, wow, this is the future, because it is the future. Like I'm in the States, you're in Australia, and we're part of the same team, and we're building a team there in Australia, and I'm doing this from the States. What other brokerage can you do that with?
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the future. It's the future of team building and brokerage building. And you got to take yourself out of the mindset of a team leader and a broker owner, and then put your franchisee hat on, because
Mm,
now you're a global franchise owner. When you come here, every single eXp agent owns their own global franchise. They can do whatever they want with it over the next 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. They can do whatever they want with it. And when you build it up and you've got stock and you've got revenue share coming in because you've built up an organization of a lot of agents, you can will that over to your kids.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can will this over to your kids. You're creating generational wealth. There's guys making $1 million a month with rev share. And so I think the biggest hesitation for broker owners is that they have to get past the ego side of things to be able to relinquish that power of being the broker.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of them, this is their baby. That office
Yeah.
is their baby.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
true.
they
Big
they
part of
have
it,
a
isn't
lot
it?
of they have a lot of pride in it being their company.
Yeah.
But it's hurting their opportunity on the back end to grow faster, to grow bigger, to impact more people, to make more money, and to own more equity.
Yeah. 100%. So talk to us about, just quickly before we wrap it up, the team that you guys have created, and what's available there through the team, because I know there's a bunch of coaching, there's a bunch of support, a lot of resources. The reason why I joined the team with you guys is because I just saw 1,200 people. Geez, imagine the resources that I could grab from that and the network opportunities that I could have from that. That was a big part for
No,
me.
yeah, absolutely. So we've named our organization Goldbar, and basically, you think of Goldbar as its own brokerage, its own global brokerage using the eXp platform to handle all the back end logistics, Whereas we can handle all the front end logistics, which is just helping agents, training agents, supporting agents. So our number one priority is just increasing volume. When agents come over, when new agents come in, single agents, team leaders, broker owners, our number one focus is taking those agents and helping them increase volume. So I want to sit down with each and every agent that comes on board and really dissect their situation, what they do every day, you know, what have they had success with, what exactly has been their success, what their database looks like, conversion, remarketing, the whole 9 yards, what they do every day, what their business looks like, and where they want to be. And then once I have all that data, then we can sit down and say, well, here's what you should be doing on a daily basis. Here's what we need to be working on to kind of get you moving in the direction. And we help them put together a routine where they can actually visualize where they're going to be over the next 5 years, that they just follow this routine, right? So, you know, coming in and creating those customized routines is really, really big for our agents. That's where we've seen the most success, is really customizing what they're doing on a daily basis. And then past that, we do our weekly calls. You know, we got 4 different, you know, calls every week. You know, role playing, mindset, getting more listings, closing more deals, and then also a presentation every week as well. So the infrastructure we've had in place, our platform, the Goldbar platform, we've had agents that have come in and tripled and quadrupled their volume. We've had, you know, teams come in and triple their agent count and expand into different markets. So, and we've seen those agents volume increase as well. You know, so it's just it's a machine that we built that just, you know, takes agents and just, you know, spits them out as top producers.
Yeah, love it. Lots of support, a lot of resources there. You've even got the 0 to Diamond coaching. I mean, free coaching. You've offered that for the last, how many years? 10 years or so?
6 years now.
6 years. There is the 0 to Diamond.com platform there, which you can log in. You can even become a certified coach with Ricky as well. So Ricky, lots going on in your world and the team as well. Thanks for sharing your story with eXp, and appreciate your time.
No, absolutely, man. Anytime. And looking forward to continuing the journey with you, man.
Thanks, Hey guys, listening to this, if you want to reach out to Ricky or myself to learn more, please do. Cheers.